Kira from KiraWoods.com. Thanks very much for joining me. This is the last video I'm doing on the series looking at the meaning of the cups, which of course is one of the suits in the minor arcana. So the element, of course, of water, which brings about things such as emotion, receptivity, compassion, empathy, self-acceptance, dreams, feelings, asking questions like who and what am I in relationship with, and then you might be asking job or home or ideas, and what is my emotional connection, my emotional well-being, so forth. Now, these are the court cards. So if you haven't done so, you might want to look at the earlier videos to really understand about the suit in itself. But the court cards, remember, can indicate either in a particular aspect, quality, energy, part of your personality that wants to shine in a particular situation. So it's a part of yourself that in this situation really comes out and dominates. And or it could be that somebody comes into your life who represents this energy, who represents these qualities and these personality traits. And how would you know which it is? Well, really, this is where you rely on your intuition in a reading. You also would look to see how you, particularly being cups, emotionally, how do you connect with the card and how it falls within the reading, and do you feel like, yes, this is a part of my personality that I need to engage or represent, or you might find in the situation, so this person comes into your life and you go, aha, okay, I recognize this energy, this is X, Y, and Z. Okay, so let's look at the page. So remember with the court cards, they go, we've got the sort of the very young energy. Now, this is not necessarily a young person if it's someone coming into your life, but they represent this very young, youthful energy. And here we've got the Knight, which I kind of think of a little bit like that sort of go-getter energy, which is sort of represented perhaps by a teenager or a very young person who's really into action and go-get it. And the Knights are always about action. Here we have the Queen of Cups, which is the feminine energy of the suit, and she embraces the whole suit from a feminine perspective, so very balanced, very whole in all aspect. And often I think of the Queen sends the Knight on the journey to do her bidding. And here we've got the King of Cups, so this is the mastery of the suit from a masculine point of view. And again, within all of us, we have masculine and feminine aspects. So it's not a male will come in necessarily or a female. They will represent those qualities. So, Page of Cups. This page represents, it's about the vision, the beginning, the renewal, that sort of, when you feel this spark of a love for a new project, or feeling our creative energy wanting just to burst forth without really any, great thought around it. When a young person is just in love with something, they just it just flows out of them. That's what this page is like, It can come up when your unconscious mind, because this page definitely has a strong connection to the unconscious mind. You might find your dreams start to speak with you, or you feel you really synchronize really well with other people of significance who represent that. Or you get this really bizarre impulse for this creative spirit to just sort of run off and do something. Your intuition will be very sharp when the Page of Cups is around. Maybe you just suddenly feel this explosion of openness and love and connectedness and a warm, heartfelt moment unexpectedly with something. This card can come up when a positive message or news from a loved one sort of appears. It definitely is going to, if it's around, you're going to feel your emotions, you're going to want to express your emotions, you're going to be wearing your heart on your sleeve, so that can have some challenges associated with it. But basically, if the Page of Cups has come in, the energy is that you need to let your heart lead the way. This is one of those ones where the inner child, the youthful, free, creative, intuitive, inspired feelings that we have when we just open up and let go is really needed. You might also find that you feel when this card comes up in a particular situation, it may represent a renewal of your emotional or creative self that maybe has been sort of pushed aside by life's experiences. But all up, love and compassion and the indication or message, don't ever stop listening to your heart and believing in your dreams, and dare to dream, and believing that new beginnings are possible, and accepting and embracing any surprises or unexpected inspirations that might just come out of the blue, and allow it to happen. Take the risk. Maybe previously you've been kind of closed off, particularly, sometimes as adults, when these youthful feelings of just go for it come up, we might hesitate. But this card is saying don't hesitate, go for it. Believe in what you want, and ask yourself, what do I want to see happen, and then follow it. Okay, the Knight of Cups. Now, the Knight is a little bit older than the Page, so, but the Knight is all about taking action. The Knight does the bidding for the Queen. And so this Knight represents, empathy and devotion, sensitivity, sweetness of heart, connection with intuition, very affectionate and honest and kind, and, is always saying, what does my heart want? And it's very responsive to the needs of the moment, And so this heart is that just loving, kind moments, when you're really in touch with your intuition and emotions, and you use them for really good. You use your emotions as a way to bring about that romance in the situation, and be very charming, and allow your heart to rule, or to really dominate, and listen to your heart and make decisions from the heart, and drawing from your decisions and your approach from your inner direction, and experiencing warmth and friendliness and love, and therefore wanting to share that with others. This Knight is often bringing those sort of messages. So there might be a message or an arrival of somebody who brings an emotional benefit to the situation for you. Because this Knight has great wisdom, because very connected with the heart, and has connection to both the dreams and intuition, as well as creative imaginings, and it can be very passionate. So if this is someone else that comes into your life, they're going to come in with a great sense of passion and a sense of connectedness to their emotions, and they have coming in because they're bringing in that journey of wanting to share with you imagination, but with a sense of action. So unlike the Page, which is just in the moment, the Knight knows that there needs to be action, needs to be taking, that there needs to be a commitment to this bringing of love and heart into the situation. That your ideas need to be balanced with action. Again, pay attention to what cards are around it. The Knight can also indicate in a situation, so for example, that it might be saying to you that it's important that others around you also feel good, or it might be saying you need to have a heart-to-heart with someone. So for example, let's say the Knight of Cups is next to the Emperor, and might be indicating you need to have a heart-to-heart with somebody who is important in terms of structure and stability in your life, or somebody that plays that emperor role, and it's time to have a heart-to-heart about how you feel about it, and being open and honest, and so forth. Okay, the Queen of Cups. Okay, so this Queen here, she's nurturing and caring and compassionate and sensitive, and here she is sitting on her throne, and she's holding this beautiful cup, and she's just gazing into it, and she's got all this lovely water around her, and she's that loving mother. She's emotionally very secure and connected, and she's admired from others because of her fairness and her honesty and her warm heart. And she's often a healer or a counsellor, or a psychic, or she might be somebody who seems to know what's going wrong around for others just by knowing, one of those that you come to, and they just sort of know that you're having a hard time, and they just give you that wonderful big hug that you need. She seems to be very insightful because she's really connected to intuition. So so if this is you or someone else that might suddenly be able to really see the solution to the problem, and particularly in relation to relationships or emotions or feelings, because her intuition is very strong and incredibly a unique talent. I always like to draw upon my Queen of Cups when I'm giving a reading to someone, particularly somebody who is really having a hard time and really wanting some intuitive insight or some connection to their higher self or to my guides. And my Queen of Cups is the one that I will draw upon there. Because there is no more greater intuition than that which the Queen of Cups brings. She's definitely a force of water, and so she's connected to her unconscious and her subconscious. She's very much I find, in alignment to the High Priestess that way. Really, only the High Priestess probably is the only one who is of the same level of connectedness to her intuition and subconscious. She's sort of saying to you, when this card comes up, she's saying, look, you need to trust in your intuition and listen to your inner voice, and you need to trust in your sensations and your feelings and your emotions, and that you are getting from both your inner wisdom but also your outside environment. So when she appears in a reading, it suggests that you need to show empathy with others, you need to show compassion, you need to focus on emotional well-being, and not be so reliant perhaps on rational or logical explanation. So, for example, if the Queen of Cups comes up next to the Justice card, it's saying, yes, you need your logic and your intellect in this situation, but you really need to also know what your emotions are saying and what your inner wisdom's saying and what your feelings are and what your intuition is wanting to talk to you and express to you, because you have access to it always when the Queen of Cups is there. Her sensitivity and her ability to connect with others with a great sense of warmth and care and compassion is really strong and a great asset, as well as her ability to problem solve and her ability to connect with imagination and creativity. All right, the King of Cups. Okay, so this king is, thrives on connecting and helping others. The King of Cups is really values helping others and feeling good about that, and is socially very responsible and really understands compassion versus sympathy. It's like the mastery of embodiment of emotion and empathy and psychic abilities and depth of emotion. And, the King of Cups is ruled by the heart, always. So wonderful when this card is really good for counselors and healthcare workers and nurses, and because there's a sense of practicality, because it's the masculine side of the emotive response, but it is supreme nurturer. It is that unspoken emotional ability to connect. It can have, the King of Cups can also then raise issues around tricky boundaries. It can also raise issues around contracts of being reciprocal so that's a reciprocal sort of emotional connection. So that can be some of the challenges of the King of Cups. But if you're facing challenges and the King of Cups comes up, you know that you have access to the full realm of emotional connectedness. So the sense of compassion for yourself and compassion for others. You might ask yourself questions like, how can I develop a stronger awareness of my unconscious without being overwhelmed by it? So sometimes when the King comes up, it's indicating this connectedness, but from a very practical point of view. The King has this wonderful, incredible gift of being open and sharing and emotional stability and calm, so because the King is very emotionally balanced and always in control. So that's how, you sort of think of that masculine side of how water or emotion would like to represent itself. Sometimes the king, may represent an older person in your life, as I said, or somebody who has sort of, we have sometimes we say someone's an old soul. They might be someone who might be into business or law. They're very kind and considerate. They love diplomacy, would use diplomacy really well. Very generous and gracious and loving, caring. If a crisis is on hand, this is definitely the King of Cups that you want to have around. Wonderful if your King of Cups shows up in your doctor or somebody of that nature. So I hope you find that useful. That's just a brief overview. Thank you so much for coming to my channel today. Look out for my weekly videos and as well as my monthly videos, and hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks very much. Cheers, bye.